Bueno, muy buenas a todos, amigos y compañeros de YouTube. Aquí estamos con donde dejamos la última vez. Que lo dejamos que nos teníamos que reunir con la reina Cersei, que se supone que ahora mismo es la reina. Bueno, se supone que es Joffrey, pero al ser, creo que era menor de edad, ella es la que suele llevar todo el cotarro, ¿vale? Y bueno, no me quiero enrollar porque si no vayamos directamente al grano, lo que no entiendo. Vale, eso tiene que ser un bujo o algo.
Ah,
Lady Marjorie,
volando. Aren't you looking lovely this evening?
Lord Tyrion, Your Grace.
Vale, vamos a ver cómo viene, porque parece que está agitada. Aquí parece que con todas Forrester no le arrodillarse ante ella. Vale, vamos a hacer vamos a arrodillar, ¿no? Vamos a hacerlo bien.
Your Grace.
No nos coja un poquito de asco al principio, si no.
The girl knows her courtesies. Impressive. You may rise.
House Forrester is a northern house loyal to the king.
Are they?
I beg your pardon, Your Grace.
I wasn't talking to you. I want to hear from the girl. Is your family loyal to the king?
Perhaps you should ask the new Lord Forrester.
He's not here, is he? She is.
Servimos Rey Joffrey. Vamos a ver si no.
King, Your Grace.
And yet, for centuries the Forresters have been loyal bannermen to House Stark. A house of traitors.
Joder. Eran nuestros guardianes. Ellos no son traidores. Vamos a empezar. Eran nuestros guardianes.
Of the North. We all served at the pleasure of the king.
Pasa que ya mismo se va a mosquear. Chica astuta. Hombre.
Perhaps too clever for her own good.
The girl did name Joffrey as the one true king.
Is your house willing to swear fealty to your new liege lord, Roose Bolton?
Roose Bolton. Es el nuevo guardián. Roose Bolton también sirvió a los Stark. ¿Es el nuevo guardián?
He is the Warden of the North, Your Grace.
He is. And I the Queen Regent and Tyrion the Master of Coin.
The girl has a remarkable talent for answering questions while in fact saying nothing at all.
Old allegiances are not easily abandoned. But now that the war is over, we must look to rebuild and forge new alliances. There are ships and shields to be built, and Joffrey will need a steady supply of ironwood for his armies. I'm told there are others who would happily serve that purpose, but I trust we can rely on House Forrester.
Forrester Ironwood does
para
seem
nuestro
rather
beneficio mutuo, muchos desean nuestro Ironwood. Vale, vamos a
Our
ver.
talent is unrivaled, Your Grace. Forrester Ironwood is highly sought after in the Seven Kingdoms.
So I'm told. It would be a shame to see it fall into the hands of another house. I imagine you'd do almost anything to prevent that from happening, wouldn't you? Ask any Lannister, and they'd do whatever was necessary to save Casterly Rock. It would be unfortunate to see another house lay claim to what's yours.
No me desean... Sí. Hay límites.
There are limits, Your Grace.
Perhaps, but not if your house faces potential ruin.
What would you have the girl do, Cersei? It's not as if she fought beside the Starks, wielding a battle axe for the Northern Army.
It raises an interesting question, I suppose. Can we truly blame those who end up on the wrong side of the wall? Our dear Marjorie here was betrothed to Renly Baratheon on the false assumption that he would one day rule the Seven Kingdoms. Can we fault her for her mistake? Should she be held accountable?
Ella solo siguió su corazón.
She was just following her heart, Your Grace.
And the very same heart so quickly led her to my son.
If there's a point to this, I hope you find it quickly.
Loyalty can be such a hard thing to define. This city alone is filled with all sorts of ambitious opportunists looking to reinvent themselves, pretending to be something they're not. Who knows what lurks within their hearts? You are a girl from the north here in service to Lady Marjorie. One can only assume her interests are yours. Yet loyalty to a king, that must be absolute, beyond question. And if your loyalties were to become conflicted between your king and the very person whom you serve, what would you do then?
I'm sure she
Let the
would...
girl answer the question.
Ser fiel al rey
Go on.
no habrá conflicto.
My loyalties would never conflict, Your Grace.
That's a coward's answer. I will not have my time wasted by a northern girl who thinks she can play games. Who do you choose?
Mi rey, por supuesto, tengo un compromiso con... Joder. Venga, vamos a ser...
The king, of course.
Hostia puta, es que no quiero que me...
Well said. I was beginning to worry you didn't have your priorities straight.
She is a threat to the crown, isn't she? The most dangerous handmaiden in all of King's Landing.
My sense is this girl will say almost anything to get what she wants. Which is not very encouraging. I'd like a word with you, if I may.
Of course, Your Grace.
Hostia, ¿cómo está la cosa? Hombre, también hay que engañarla, hombre. Está claro que yo siempre voy a tirar... Si pasa algo, voy a tirar por Lady Marjorie, ya que... Los Cersei,
I'll
hombre...
walk you out.
Tyrion, la verdad es que es un...
This may come as a surprise, but I met your father once, at the tourney at Lannisport. Even then he didn't trust Roose Bolton. We only spoke briefly, but your father struck me as an honorable man. You have my condolences for his loss. These would be trying times for your family, even under the best of circumstances.
Gracias.
Thank you, Lord Tyrion. That's very
Vamos,
kind of you
Tyrion,
to
una
say.
pedazo de persona, vamos, por lo menos en la serie.
That certainly took courage. To so publicly
Todo lo
declare
que tiene
your
de
loyalty
pequeño lo
to Joffrey
tiene
for all to hear. Poor Lady Marjorie was
de buena
humiliated,
persona.
although Cersei
grande.
seemed quite pleased. It was quite the first impression. I, of course, found it all
Intentaba
highly
calmarla.
entertaining.
I was trying to appease her.
I think that was clear to everyone. My sister and I have our differences. She takes great pleasure in her little charades. I take mine in thwarting them. We must find our amusements where we can. She threatened to give your ironwood to another house. It is the Master of Coin who decides such matters. The crown needs boats. Boats need wood. And I
No
speak
quiero
for the crown
ser...
in this
¿Qué me
regard,
estás sugiriendo?
not her.
What are you suggesting?
I suppose the crown could be persuaded to secure ironwood from House Forrester. Lady Marjorie might not look favorably on such an alliance, and it would infuriate Cersei. Although what would be amusing for me might prove rather dangerous for you and your house. Are you willing to risk that? It may be far too dangerous.
Sí. Vamos a ser valientes.
It's a risk I'm willing to take, Lord Tyrion. Please.
You are a brave girl, aren't you? I'll consider it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I promised Sansa I would join her for dinner tonight. 3 beautiful bottles of Dornish wine await my arrival.
Espero,
The mere thought of
gracias
them
por
makes
el
me
consejo.
thirsty already.
Thank you for the advice, Lord Tyrion.
Just be careful. This is not the North. King's Landing can be a nest of vipers to the uninitiated.
Nunca mejor dicho. A desembarco del rey, quien vaya es como, vamos, en desembarco todo el mundo quiera llevar cotarro, pero claro.
Mira, I was worried. How was it? Cersei has a way of looking at you as though you're nothing.
Prefiero no hablar de
It's more than a little
bueno,
intimidating.
vamos a ver.
It went well.
Really? That's a relief. Cersei is known for being rather difficult. Lady Marjorie has spent the entire day working on seating arrangements for the wedding. Of course, you and I are seated way at the back, here with the 4th cousins and the 9th-born sons. Ah, Sir Jaime. I wouldn't mind tarnishing that white cloak of his.
Sarah!
What? It's true. And Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper. I'm told he has a paramour, which I doubt is Dornish for wife.
You'll get us in trouble.
We're just having some fun. Perhaps Lady Marjorie could make the right introductions. Who knows? We might meet our future husbands. Although, marrying a king, I can only imagine what that would be like. Would you marry Joffrey if it meant you'd become queen? He does have a certain look about him.
No
And he's
quiero
always
ser
treated
reina.
Lady Marjorie
Vamos a
well.
ser.
I don't want to be queen no matter who I'd have to marry.
Don't want to be queen? You northerners. You'd make a perfect scepter. Well, I would marry him. Imagine the power you would have as Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. I might even allow you to be my handmaiden. Let's see, who else should we marry off? Brienne of Tarth and Tyrion Lannister. What a perfect match!
Ah, bien,
Sir
¿qué?
Bronn and...
What are you doing? Well,
No estaba haciendo nada,
Sarah?
vale.
I'm sorry, my lady.
As am I. We shouldn't have been messing about.
this is not a game. It's a battle plan. Allies and enemies can be made with every move. Yet they say it is men who are powerful. The Queen was pleased by your display, Mira. I'm just glad it's over.
Ya te digo. Cersei
King's
no me gusta ni
Landing can
un
be
pelo.
exhausting sometimes. There's always someone to please or some perceived slight to smooth over. I fear it will only get worse when I am queen.
Once they know your true heart, the lords and ladies will have no choice but to love you.
Do you agree?
Eso no importa lo que usted diga, son difíciles. Son difíciles de
People
complacer.
are not always so easy to please. If you showed Cersei your true heart, she would stab it with a fork.
You learn very quickly.
Hombre. Chavala.
Your words to Cersei were brave, but I know you must fear what the Boltons might do to your family. I do appreciate your willingness to appease her, as difficult as it may have been.
Thank you, my lady. There's been something on my mind. Something important.
Venga, vamos a pedírselo.
I did have a favor to ask of you in return.
Pasa que están...
Whatever you wish to say, you can say it in front of Sarah. There are no secrets between us.
It's about my family.
I trust her.
Prefiero hablar a las horas. Es que, tío.
I prefer to speak with you alone.
Que no me fío, tío. Vamos, ya te he dicho lo que dice Tyrion. Desembarco del rey puede ser un nido de víboras. Lo siento mucho, Sira, pero es que...
Go on. Ask.
Mi madre necesita ayuda.
Forgive me, my lady. I wouldn't otherwise ask this of you, but my mother insisted. It's about my family.
Ramsay Snow. What would you have me do?
My mother fears our family will suffer if Ramsay is left to do as he likes. She thought, if a raven could be sent to the Boltons to let them know House Forrester has the protection of the crown. I know it's a lot to ask of you, and I wouldn't otherwise, but she insisted.
That is no small request, especially now.
I know, my lady, and I wouldn't ask this of you otherwise. But my mother has left me no choice. She insisted.
Joffrey knows only too well your family fought for the Starks, and now you would have me ask him to intervene. Is the situation that dire? Joffrey will not look favorably on such a request.
Espero que lo entienda.
My mother
que-
feels it is urgent, my lady. She's unfamiliar with King's Landing and its politics. I hope you can understand that.
Very well. I'll make your request, but I cannot promise anything.
Thank you, my lady. I will send a raven to my family at once.
Vamos a ver si puede ser que nos ayude. La verdad es que está jodida la cosa, no veas, flipa. Camino real, bosque de los lobos. Vale.
7 elves.
Oh my god.
Let's play a little game, shall we? Did you know my ancestors wore the skins of their enemies as a coat?